What's going on, everyone? It's American in Leeds, the American in Leeds YouTube and Spotify channel. I am at American in Leeds, all one word, on Spotify and, of course, on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe means a ton to me. Small channel. I call it a pub channel, if you will. And yeah, love Leeds. Been a Leeds fan for, wow, going on 10 years. So, yeah, means the world that you have joined me. I love the comments section. Love talking Leeds. So get stuck in. Appreciate you. Keep, sell, bench. Keep, sell, loan. When I first thought about doing this, it's like, are the players Premier League? And, when I reflect back on the Bielsa campaign, I thought 3 players were ready for the Prem, and those players were Pablo, Matthias Klick, and Calvin Phillips. Those were the 3 players. Obviously, Pablo fell out of favor in his first season with Marcelo in the Prem. Matthias Klick had a good first half, and then of course Calvin Phillips had an excellent first campaign, wound up being England's Player of the Year. You know the story. So there's a lot more talent on this squad. However, we're going to go over what I call a depth chart. That's how in America we kind of look at things in depth chart in our sports. The reason I like this is because it allows us to not look at things square peg, round hole. We become, right, in the past, in our previous Premier League campaigns, we become square peg, round hole FC, done it on the cheap. We don't want to do that anymore. We're Premier League. We want about 2 players for every position. So this is how I'm going to break it down. I'm going to say roughly, let's say Parag has 100 million to spend. We're going to do the player sales, roughly calculate that, and then look at the shopping list. So without further ado, let's take a peek at what I call a depth chart. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen. The point of this exercise is to only name a player once, because otherwise you get into, oh, well, so-and-so can play the right back, even though they're really a center back. We don't want to do that anymore. We want like for like positions. All right, so let's look at goalie first, right? That's how teams should be building their squad. They should be building it out from the goalie, from the spine out. Meslier, Carnes, Darlow. I keep Darlow. I sell Meslier and Carnes. I'm going to guess that we can get a combined 10 million. Maybe, right? I mean, I don't even know if Carnes would get anything back. But we sell Meslier. We sell Carnes. And so that means we need a goalkeeper. I keep Darlow for competition. Moving on to center back. Okay, and this is kind of why everybody was nervous about Joe Rodon possibly being injured, because the depth behind Joe Rodon this season was really DeBio, or moving Max Vober around, or Pascal Strike, Ethan Ampadu. Again, square pegs, round holes. We don't want this anymore. We want depth. However, let's just move on to the player sales. So after Carnes, obviously I don't sell Rodon. I loan James DeBio. Okay, that's looking at right-sided center back. Jaden Bogle, there's not a lot of depth behind him, so I hold on to Jaden Bogle for dear life. I keep Jaden Bogle. Welcome to the Premier League. We'll get onto the shopping list later, but obviously you would want now added to the shopping list. You have a goalie, a right back, and a center back. Pascal Strike is the current starting center backs and Max Vober. Now, a lot of people have been saying, or might be saying, sell Max Vober, sell him. He was a snake, and he didn't play well this last season. I actually keep Vober. I keep him. If I reflect back on 2 years ago, he was one of the core 4 players I wanted to keep, was Vober. He wound up being a snake, etc. But I think there's a player in there. I actually think there's a leader in there. And I think he's flexible in his positioning on the pitch. I keep him. I think he's physical. When we look back at his Premier League campaign, he was one of the players that, we thought was actually up for the fight. So I keep Vober as a squad player. Junior Firpo is gone. He's at Real Betis. We will not recoup money for him. I believe it's a free. Sam Byram, I sell. I'm going to hope that I can get $5 million for Sam Byram. Maybe that's too aggressive. Sam Byram, I sell. I don't think his game would fare well in the Premier League. Isaac Smith, I keep. So Isaac Smith is now currently, if we've moving on from Firpo and Byram, he is now your starting left back. We'll go on to the shopping list, but right now you would add to your shopping list left back, right? Okay, let's move into midfield. Ethan Ampadu's the captain. He's not going anywhere. He's kept. Al Tanaka is kept. Now, you're probably feeling pretty comfortable there if you could guarantee both of their health for the campaign. And you would want both of them to be develop a partnership. Ethan Ampadu, Al Tanaka. Okay. Again, depth. Gulavalgi, we are moving away from. He is right. He was on a free, lack of a better phrase, he was on his couch. Before he got us here. I salute him for his service. He was quite a great leader in the locker room. Yeah. I'm glad to see him win a trophy. Rothwell's a loanee, so we don't know what's going to happen to him. I might consider signing Joe Rothwell when we start to look at our budget. He's not a person that I would necessarily just walk away from. Gruev, I'm selling. He's so predominantly, I believe, left-footed, and I don't know if his game would suit the Prem. Gruev, I move on from. I sell Gruev and hope I can get about $6 million for. Sam Chambers, Charlie Crew, they're 17 and 18 respectively. Maybe they've ticked up in age since I last made this, but they're teenagers. So I don't think that they would start in this Premier League campaign. Let's move on to the attacking positions. Monor Solomon's a loanee, so we don't know what's going to happen to Monor. We would probably look to buy Monor early, right? People are saying 15 to 20. He would fit in a budget for us. Just depends on what Levy wants to do. We know he's a shrewd negotiator. Aronson. Aronson's a number 10. I would love to, I hear people in their arguments to say, hey, let's move on from Brendan Aronson. You want to move on from Brendan? That's fine. I move him to the squad. I move him to the bench as a squad player. I do think there's a player in there. I think his availability is a key asset, and I think late in games he can be a key asset for us. But again, you want to sell Brendan, you don't have a number 10. You can start to say, oh, well, Alex, we can move Nanto in the 10, Ramazani in the 10. Again, square pegs, round holes. You don't want to do that. You want a number 10 in the number 10. Keep Brendan, ideally move him to the bench. Dan James, you're keeping. Willie Nanto, you're keeping. So Monor, you don't know, is an unknown commodity. You can't just assume that he's going to come back. You don't know what Levy's going to do. He rose to the occasion for a huge club. There could be other clubs in for him. Spurs might want to keep him. We're not in a completely great negotiation position there. So So Monor is not guaranteed. That's all I just want to say there. Which adds to the importance, I think, of Brendan. Joel Perreault, number 10, our number 10, not number 10 position, but Joel Perreault is your striker. Mateo Joseph, Patrick Bamford, Harry Gray. I am selling Bamford and Joseph. Gray, you're probably not. Again, he's 16, 15, 16. He is not going to be a option, maybe even on the bench for you in the Premier League. I love Harry. I'm happy that he got time, but it would be remarkable, right, to see him in the Premier League. So I am selling Bamford for 5. I'm lucky to get 5. There's rumors of Wrexham offering 3 this week. Joseph, I'm selling for 15. Hopefully for a Spanish side. Again, I do need to generate some revenue. I'm not comfortable moving on from Mateo Joseph. There is going to be a player this window that we don't want to move on from. Maybe it's a Dan James, maybe it's a Nanto, to help us recuperate some money so we can spend it back into the club. Now, so I've used rough numbers. Let's say Parag's got a budget of 100 million. We sell about 35 million. If you've added everything up, we have a $35 million revenue stream in sales. That means we have $135 million to spend on the shopping list. All right, everybody get their shopping list together. I said 125. Let's say it's 135. My apologies. But we need goalie, right back, center back, and honestly, people could say 2 center backs. I wouldn't argue. Left back, winger, striker, and number 10. Okay? I think we need big investment in striker and number 10 specifically. And I think number 10 maybe most of all. And I would spend about $50 million on a number 10. I think if we sold Jorginho Ruter for 40, I think we need a Jorginho Ruter like number 10 for $50 million. I don't know where this player is in Europe, but that's my budget for a number 10. And then we have $85 million left. Right? We have $85 million, which equates to about $14 million for the rest of these folks, if you divide it up. And a $14 million player is really nothing. I mean, you're looking at 35, 40, $20 million pound players on the bench at most clubs. So $14 million is more championship type money, but I don't know. I just think that's what you need to do. You need to, maybe you can flex some money towards the striker. Maybe the striker's a 25 million pound striker. You get a winger that's young and, has some speed in him. A left back, right back, center back. Again, that's why I'm keeping Vober there, because maybe he could be a fullback. And then you have to get a center back that's, a 20 million pound center back, maybe in the Bundesliga or La Liga. And you're kind of, I don't know how to say this. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit. I don't know. That's not the right phrase, but you're stretching your dollar, as you would say, like in the US. You have to stretch your dollar somehow. You have to find bargains. You have to find some bargains, because I do think, again, in my world, in my plan, I think if you have 135, which is conservative, right? Hopefully Prague spends 200 million and just says Forest model, like, we're just spending money. Come and get us, Would love to see that, right? I would love to see it, because I think we'd actually do it well. We wouldn't just buy hodgepodge players like I think Forest did, at least their first couple years. So we'll see. but I think there will be some bargain shopping a little bit in this whole methodology. You're also banking, I think, on some maturity in not a Brendan Aronson. He's kind of a known commodity, but I think a Ramazani is somebody that you're hoping comes in, or the old Willie Nanto comes back into form. You're going to need a player or players to step up. Maybe Pascal has a really healthy season and returns to long-haired Pascal when he was pinging the ball all over the place under Bielsa. Isaac Schmidt, comes into fruition, and, he becomes the player that we all wanted him to be. Ethan Ampadu and Al Tanaka are healthy for, an entire schedule. Jaden Bogle is a worry. Like, okay, now if I'm going, who's a Premier League player, like my original question, who's like nailed on, I'm comfortable, you playing in the Prem? Joe Rodon, not with an exclamation mark, but Joe Rodon. Ethan Ampadu, Al Tanaka, that's 3. Dan James and Willie Nanto definitely as bench as squad players can play up there. That's 4 or 5. That's who I've got that I'm like, okay, you're a nailed on Premier League player. Jaden, I love him. It's a different story when you're going up against the wingers each week, the elite wingers each week. Who's the toughest winger he went up against? Jaden Anthony? Like, there's a big gap there. Just in wingers. I mean, it's massive. It's a chasm, right? So the fullback position is going to be something where I'd like to see some competition. And it's always been a little Achilles heel in Leeds United history. In fact, this was the fact that we've actually played without now fullbacks, and Firpo was healthy and Bogle was healthy. I mean, it's crazy. It's going to be one heck of a summer. I'm going to enjoy the ride. I think the mill will start churning. If it hasn't already, by the time I post this video, I'm sure there'll be rumors of players. But that's my plan. That's what I mean. Am I crazy to spend that much on a number 10? I just think we need a marquee signing. Maybe it's a striker, because Bamford, Joseph, and Harry Gray are probably not going to be making the squad the first week 1 of the Premier League. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. My name is Alex Simon, and it's been a joy, as usual, to talk about Leeds United. This is a pre-recorded video because I'm in the States, and I'm going to launch it when I'm asleep. And you guys are just, you're craving Leeds United content. I know you. Get in, Leeds. Up the Whites. Talk soon.